Welcome back to Animate. In our last lesson, we learned about some basic tools. In this lesson, we are going to develop a basic frame-by-frame animation. To get started, we're going to go to Create New, and we're going to be in Advanced mode, and we're going to be doing an action script, and we want our width to be 600, our height to be 300. We're going to be working in pixels, and we're going to go ahead and create. And we can use these bars if we need to scroll within our screen, use our mouse to zoom in, or we can zoom in using our control right here. So to get started, we are going to select the oval tool. Now it is very important that you're on the oval tool and not the primitive oval tool. Make sure you're on the oval tool. And we want to make sure that our stroke color is black and our fill color is white. You can change them in your properties, or you can change them at the bottom of your tool panel. And we want to set our stroke size to 3. You can drag it, or you can come over here and drag, or you can double click and type. And we are going to draw a stick figure, and you are going to draw all the parts separately. And I suggest that you draw the head first. So I'm going to go ahead. I want my head to be a circle, so I'm going to hold the Shift key down. And then I'm going to use my line tool. And I am going to draw the body. And then one leg. Then the other leg. And then I'm going to draw each arm, but I'm going to draw them separately. And now when I look in my timeline, I can see that all the parts that I drew are on layer 1, frame 1. Now I'm actually going to go to frame 2, which is this little block right here. And in frame 2, I am going to create what's called a new keyframe. Now I don't need to worry about necessarily moving my timeline. I just clicked on frame 2. And I am going to go to Insert, Timeline, Keyframe. It's very important that you're going to keyframe and not frame. And I want you to watch my stick figure. So you can see that my stick figure changed. If your stick figure did not change to all these little dots, you need to see me so we can get him fixed. Probably what happened had to do with the object drawing button, but we'll talk about that if you had this happen. All right, so let's just take a minute to talk about what a keyframe is. A keyframe is a special frame that tells Animate, the program, that there is going to be a change in motion that's going to happen. While Animate can fill in between our frames, we're going to start with something simple, which is considered frame by frame. So this is like the paper eyeball that you made, the eyeball that you made in Brush Ninja, and we are going to be working on every frame and we'll be editing each frame. Excuse me. When we choose to insert a new keyframe, that is essentially copying the frame prior to what we had. So let's just review a couple of key points. This is our selection tool, and we are going to be using our selection tool as we do some of our editing. And the first step that we're going to do in editing is we are going to move his hand. So I'm going to click off. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to make this arm bend. Well, wave. Now, I'm using the selection tool, but if you actually select the arm, it's not going to work. You see, that's actually moving the whole arm, and that's not what we want. What we really want, I'm going to click off with the selection tool, and we're going to get close, and we're looking for that angle, and I'm going to bring the arm up. And then I'm going to come to frame 3, and I'm going to say Insert, Timeline, Keyframe, click off, and make it move up again. We do not want to attach it to the head. I'm going to come to the next keyframe, Insert, Timeline, Keyframe, Insert, Timeline, Keyframe, click off, and I'm going to start to bring the arm back down. You saw that it disappeared on the screen for a second, and that was because I had accidentally clicked frame instead of keyframe. Click off, bring the arm back, next frame, Insert, Timeline, Keyframe, click off, bring the hand down, and if I click play, I can see that I got a stick figure. This is essentially waving his arm for right now. All right, so we are going to continue. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the sub selection tool, and we are going to kind of make it look like the stick figure is opening his mouth. When we move the arm, we were just simply using the selection tool. I'm going to go ahead and insert a new keyframe, and then I'm going to hold the selection tool down so I can go to sub selection. You can see the arrow is now white, and I'm going to click on the head, and that head now has points or nodes. So with the sub selection tool, I can now adjust one of those. Making a new keyframe. So now when I play, he's going to wave and then open his mouth. Now it's important that we are remembering to save our animation. So File, Save As. Let's see, I'm going to save it in my documents, and I happen to have an animation folder. And I am going to name this Animation 2 because this is our second animation in this software. Now, you notice, let's talk about testing our movie. If we go to Control and Test, he's just gonna keep going. We want to put in what's called a stop code or stop script. So we are going to talk about how to do that. And to make our animation stop after it plays through, we're going to use what's called a code snippet. We could write the code by hand, but Animate has codes that come with it. So we want the whole animation to play through, and then we want it to stop when it returns to frame 1. So we are going to select frame 1, and we are going to go I gotta remember here, on the menu bar, we're gonna click Window, and we are gonna come to Code Snippets, and we are going to open up, I always have to stop to think about this. We're gonna open up the action script, and we are going to open up Timeline Navigate, and we are going to choose Stop at this frame, and we're going to double click it. So I double clicked to get this action to appear and to get this menu to come up. When I double clicked, I now have this extra layer and I have this actions panel. I can click out of this now, and I can click out of my codes, but now when I come up and go to Control Test, bring up our test command, and we've put that stop action in, we then have to use the enter key to tell the animation to start. I have to click in this window and hit the enter key. Clicked in the window, enter key. Click in the window, enter key. So that's how our animation is actually going to play with that stop in there. All right, so it is important that we are saving our animations. So I'm going to, whoops, I have to close the test window first. File, save. All right, now that we've put our code snippet in to tell the animation to stop, and we have tested it, we want to export it. And we want to export it so it is in a form that we can put into Google Slides. So we're going to go to File, Export, Export Animated GIF. And it's important that we scroll to the bottom because the default is forever. And if we want our animation to only play one time, so that code snippet will say is recognized, so it doesn't play continuously, we are going to change the looping to once, and we are going to hit save. And I'm going to save this as animate 2 because this is our second animation lesson inside of the animate software, animate 2. Save. And now I can come in and you can see it played. If I want it to play again, I guess I have to open it up again. And it will play through once. So I'm going to ask that you upload your GIF right in to your assignment. And I should be able to see them play in the assignment window.